Yo, another brick in the wall here. Just got a quick one here because last night I started watching No Country for Old Men, which I've seen a couple times. It's a great fucking movie. It's on YouTube, free with ads, which great way to watch a movie. That is just such a good movie, bro. Like the decisions that the directors and the producers made with the sounds and the scenes. The story's fantastic, but just how they put together everything is like beautiful. Like, for example, this one moment was just kind of blew me away because it gave me like weird chills, and it was so subtle. There's a scene where Anton, you know, the crazy guy with the cattle air killer thing that just goes up to people's brains and like knocks out the doors and whatnot. That little like pressurized air canister thing. So I don't know, they were talking about that. It was the sheriff, he was talking about it. And he was talking about how like he was literally talking about the procedures that the cattle go through, and he was talking about that machine. Like, little did he know that that's the machine that Anton was using the whole time, but he was talking about that air-powered machine that you put it up to the cattle's brain, and that's what kills them. And he was talking about it, so he's talking about that air-powered thing, and then it cuts to the next scene of Llewellyn on the bus with this girl, and they're kind of sending each other on his way. But what you don't realize is the very first sound you hear when the scene cuts is that air hiss from the brakes, like, you know, like when buses come to a stop and it's like, you know, it was that sound. So like, he's talking about that cattle killer, I don't know what you'd call it. And then the scene jumps, and it's just that air, that pressurized air sound. Psst. And it's such a subtle detail, you know? Like, I believe, like, amazing things are in the details, and it's just like, when I heard that, I literally was like, woo! Like, holy shit. 'Cause it, like, literally gave me, like, chills, and all it was the sound of the bus. You know? And that's a fantastic movie right there. Like, they just were telling the story so beautifully and putting the pictures and the sounds together so perfectly that it gave you, like, there's so many different elements that just that one sound caused it. It gave me like a thrilling feel, you know, like it kind of got my heart racing. There's a little bit of like foreshadowing, you know, like it was just like so many different literary elements all in just a one transition of a sound. You know, most people are just like, oh, he's like, it's really hard to catch, you know, it's like if you're not really like looking and watching the movie, like you'll just be like, oh, these on the bus now, like you would never really catch that. But like, that's what makes a good movie. You know, you could watch it 100 times and never catch that, and then on that 20th time watching it, you're like, whoa, that's crazy. That just blew me away, you know, because it's just like such a small little thing that honestly doesn't have anything to do with like the story, or it doesn't like change the plot or anything. It's just a noise, and it was so powerful. It's just so subtle that it was like so sinister and scary, even though it was just the bus and they were just at the bus station and everything was fine. So shout out to the Coen brothers. That's fire, man. Like, just them little details scattered all throughout the movie. That's just one example. But yeah, R.I.P. Llewellyn, or how Llewellyn dies, bro. It is so perfectly done because, you know, it's just like the whole time you're like rooting for Llewellyn, like the main character, the cowboy dude. Like, you're like kind of following him. Like, you're hoping he gets away with the money and he gets it with this girl, and you're like thinking there's so much more left in the story with him. And it all just ends because he fucked up and started talking to this girl who was probably like working with the cartel, or he just thought he was safe and wasn't expecting it, and that's when you got him. It was literally in the movie, like, you weren't expecting it at all. Like, you were expecting the next scene to be like maybe Llewellyn going in, getting drunk with this girl or something, but no, it's just like this girl wanted to drink and get a little freaky, and he was like, all right, like, you know, I'm safe. There's no way that they know where I am. I got rid of the tracker. And so he's like, all right, fuck it. Like, let's go. And he goes in, and that's the downfall. You cuts to like the next scene, and it's the sheriff pulling up, and it's gunshots and craziness. Like, this is right after Llewellyn's like kind of basically like agrees to go into the hotel room with this girl. And the next scene is just craziness, the sheriff pulling up on some craziness, and Mexicans leaving, and gunshots, and Llewellyn's dead. You know, it was just a perfect detail to add, like the perfect way to execute his death. Like, not only was Llewellyn not expecting it, but the audience wasn't expecting it either. Like, I was like, he's dead? Like, holy shit. You know, I just thought he was gonna go in and get some poo-tang, that wang dang poo-tang, you know, and the fucking cartel murked him because of it. It was crazy. Man, yeah, what a great movie. Shout out to the Coen brothers. It was just so cool how they freaking put that together. It was a masterpiece. Love that movie. I finished it on the road today. I put my phone up on the little phone mount, and I was just watching it as I was delivering. It was awesome. But that's all. Peace. This country is for no old men.